Imagine a child, once considered an angel, transforming into a demon. What if I tell you that a child, never even enrolled in school, managed to create chaos across an entire country? Picture this boy who instilled fear worldwide, without a trace of guilt on his face, earning the infamous title of the most evil kid in the world. This made the entire world think. Does every child invariably represent an angel? Today, prepare to be captivated as we unravel the stories of not one, but two children whose actions are so sinister that even Satan himself might be ashamed. You may be wondering, with questions in your mind, to get those answers. Get ready for a journey into the darkest corner of the human psyche. Watch the video to the end as we explore the chilling world of the most evil kids imaginable. Amarjit Sada, the enigmatic figure shrouded in darkness and mystery, emerged from the quaint village of Musahar in Bihar, India, a place where simplicity and struggle danced hand in hand. His birth added another layer of complexity to his parents' already arduous journey. At the tender age of 7, as fate would have it, a new addition arrived in their humble abode, a baby girl, a bundle of joy, and a burden on their fragile resources. The story of this child will surely leave you completely amazed and shocked. Amarjit, a young soul marked by solitude, found solace in peculiar activities. Climbing trees and exploring local terrain became his refuge, a retreat from the monotony of life. Little did his poverty-stricken parents know that their hopes for a brighter future would be tainted by their own offspring. Instead of radiating love and spreading joy, Amarjit became the harbinger of darkness, extinguishing the very light he was meant to embody. The catalyst for his transformation was a visit from his aunt, embarking on a new journey in the bustling city, leaving behind her innocent child in the care of her kin. In her absence, Amarjit's mother, burdened by the weight of survival, had to venture into the local market in search of sustenance. The responsibility of tending to his cousin and younger sister fell upon Amarjit's shoulders, an unexpected burden for a child with a twisted destiny. The accounts of his malevolence began to unfold, pinching and slapping the helpless baby. He found amusement in her cries. However, his sinister inclinations pushed him further, escalating his actions. He tightened his grip around the baby's throat, extinguishing her breath, and in turn, causing her to cry even more, gasping for air. The lifeless body was concealed beneath the grass as Amarjit nonchalantly returned home. Shock enveloped his mother when the truth surfaced, revealing the horrifying deeds her own flesh and blood had committed. Despite the gravity of his actions, his father's retribution remained limited to physical punishment. The authorities were not involved, and a web of deceit was spun to mislead the aunt. The cycle of tragedy persisted, as Amarjit's next victim became his 8-month-old sister, suffocated in the darkness of their slumber. Disturbingly, some family members were aware of the atrocities that unfolded within the confines of their household. Yet these acts were labeled as family matters. Silence prevailed, allowing the horrors to persist. It was not until 2007 that the outside world would glimpse into the true nature of Amarjit's depravity. His alleged final victim, a 6-month-old baby girl named Khushbu, disappeared without a trace from a local primary school. The distraught mother, a neighbor, alerted the police, reporting her missing child. Hours later, Amarjit, with a cold demeanor, admitted to the heinous act, strangling the innocent child and striking her with a brick. In a horrifying demonstration of his twisted psyche, he readily guided the locals to the location of where he had buried her dead body. At this point, the wheels of justice started turning, capturing the child who had grown to be a representation of evil. In the custody of the authorities, Amarjit's face bore a haunting smile, a mask shielding the depths of his disturbed mind. Speech eluded him, leaving the investigators grappling with the enigma. A psychologist, faced with unraveling the complexities of his twisted psyche, labeled Amarjit as a sadist who derives pleasure from inflicting injuries, a chilling revelation of his dark desires. Amarjit was spared prison due to the Indian judicial system's treatment of young criminals. According to Indian laws, he couldn't be jailed, but was placed in a juvenile home until 18. Psychological evaluation suggested that he had conduct disorders, and he was subsequently placed in a facility in Manga, disturbingly. He was released at 16, and his current location is unknown as of 2023, and he should be about 23 years old, living under a new identity. At this point of the journey, please remember to like the video and put a comment. Now, we'll delve into the next story of another sadistic teen killer.
was laughing when I killed my mother.
Why'd you get rid of that shirt?
It had pieces of my mother's brain stuck to it.
On August 10, 2012, the trajectory of an everyday middle-class family in Tennessee irreparably changed. 15-year-old Zachary Davis, in a flurry of madness, murdered his mother with a sledgehammer and attempted to burn his house down while his older brother was still inside. Even the courts debated as to whether the young man was deeply disturbed or simply pure evil. Zachary was a quiet boy who clearly had a history of mental illness. When his father Chris died of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, in 2007, then 9-year-old Davis went into a tailspin. Zachary, his mother and 16-year-old brother Josh went to a movie together. When they returned, they packed several items into a backpack and satchel, including clothing, notebooks, a toothbrush, gloves, a ski mask, and a claw hammer. On the outside, it could have seemed as though Zachary was going to run away from home. But on the inside, something far more sinister was at play. Melanie went to bed at 9 p.m. When she was asleep, Zachary retrieved the sledgehammer from the basement and entered his mother's room. He bludgeoned her to death and struck her nearly 20 times. Then, drenched in her blood, Zachary closed the door, went to the family game room, and drenched that in whiskey and gasoline before setting it aflame. He shut the door and fled the house. He had intended to kill his brother Josh in the fire, but because he closed the door to the game room, the fire did not spread immediately, and the older brother was consequently awoken by a fire alarm. When he went to retrieve his mother, he found her a bloodied mess. Josh escaped the fire to a neighbor's house. Zach was found by authorities nearly 10 miles from his home.
Why you did it, or you just don't want to tell?
I didn't know why I did.
He told authorities that, "I didn't feel anything when I killed her." In a videotaped confession presented as evidence to the court, Zachary Davis chillingly explained how the disembodied voice of his father told him to kill his mother. When asked by a detective in his confession if he could go back in time, would he still carry out the attack? Zach said that, "I would probably kill Josh with a sledgehammer too." Defense attorney Randy Lucas asked during the trial, "Did he tell you to do anything specific to your mother?" Zach said no, and he showed no remorse when investigators presented him with pictures of his mother's blood-soaked body. In fact, he never showed any remorse at all. He said he chose a sledgehammer as the murder weapon because "I was worried that I'd miss," and that this tool adding gave him the highest chance of killing her. At the trial, the jury was also presented with Zachary's interview with television personality, Dr. Phil McGraw. Jury asked, "Why did you kill her?" And Zach said that, "She wasn't taking care of my family." He laughed when he described how large and heavy the murder weapon was. He also laughed when he described the sound the sledgehammer made when connecting with his mother's head. It was a wet, thumping sound. My beloved viewers, can you imagine a son killing his mom and describing such relentlessly? Such an awful act he had done, wasn't it? When asked why Zach hit his mother multiple times, the teen replied, "I wanted to make sure she was dead." At one point in this trial, Zachary tried to blame the murder on his brother. The claim surprised even his defense attorney, who admitted openly in court that Zachary Davis killed his mother. The defense was merely trying to get a more lenient sentence for Davis, and trying to pin the crime on his brother didn't help his case. Zach was sentenced to life in prison after reaching a guilty verdict. A life sentence in Tennessee is a minimum of 60 years, with the possibility of parole after 51 years. Zachary Davis will be in his mid-60s by the time he could get out of prison. Whether the murder was cold-blooded or brought on by psychosis, it is regardless a tragic story of a family destroyed. If you crave more mysterious tales and historical events, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for staying until the very end. You're a curious person, and we love you. Fuel your passion with your comments, or drop your questions below. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.